I'm holding the career bar for him in a Bears uniform is he needs to be our first franchise star quarterback.
Yeah.
I will tell you that if he is third in the draft class, but he is a star franchise quarterback, and he's just below the two, I can live with that. It doesn't have to be where, okay, maybe it should have been May. Maybe it should have been Daniels. Right. As long as Caleb lives up to the bar that Caleb is supposed to be. It's sort of like Akeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Would the Houston Rockets rather have taken Michael Jordan than Akeem?
Caleb's last 4 weeks, completing less than 61% of his passes, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. QB rating has been 77 or less in 3 of the 4. Over that stretch, they are 5 for 16 in the red zone, which is a 31% efficiency, all while being helped out by a rejuvenated running game. And they've committed 64 penalties. They're averaging 9 penalties for 76 yards per game. Only 2 teams have committed more. One of them has played 9 games. And I said Ben needs to wear some of that too. Sadly, there has been little to no improvement from the quarterback over this particular stretch. Go Blackhawks is what I sent to you before the Blackhawks game.
But so it sounds like after watching the film, you thought then he did play better than initially as well.
I thought he made some better throws. It's not where it needs to be. I mean, I think that's kind of the summation of it all. It wasn't horrible. I mean, is that the best? I think it's about where's the bar now?
Was it good enough? Wasn't horrible? Is that how you would term it?
Yeah, I mean, it was better than the Saints game. Now, again, he made a catastrophic mistake with the interception with the read, because at that point you're gifting them points because you're only down 3 at the time. Like, that was a catastrophic mistake on his behalf. But other than that, I thought. I thought his feet were calmer. As I said, I didn't see dirt and screens. I didn't see any tipped balls. Maybe there was one. I don't recall a tipped pass. I thought that they hit some intermediate to deeper in routes, that there were a couple sideline throws that need to be better. Like, it's not where it needs to be, but I didn't think it was hideous, I guess is the best way to say it. It's like, oh, my God, No, I don't think he was horrible. I just, as we had shaped our impressions or our expectations for that game, it was all right. This is an opportunity. Maybe this is the game where the defense doesn't deliver 4 takeaways. They're without their top 3 cornerbacks. This is the game where the quarterback takes care of this for everybody, and they win because of him. He didn't do that. He wasn't garbage, but he didn't do what we were all hoping he would do.
It hasn't been good lately. Waddle just gave the stats for the
last 4 weeks,
especially for Caleb too. We want to see where this development is and where it's going, and we still have hope. No one is writing him off. Like Julian, one of our longtime callers, said, "Hey, like we can't dismiss Caleb." No one is dismissing Caleb. Way, way, way too early to have that sort of discussion. All this is hey, did they pick maybe the wrong guy? Is the progression not happening fast enough? Why does Drake May look like that with less skill guys with a first-time head coach? Why did Jaden Daniels look like that last year? Bo Nix has been fairly consistent in 2 years with Sean Payton. When is it our turn? When's our guy going to pop? And it may still happen, and I'm hoping beyond hope it's going to happen. But I think you're burying your head in the sand if you're just not even wondering a little bit why he hasn't been better as a quarterback.
And think about, again, the table has been set. You've got arguably one of the top 2 or 3 offensive minds in all of football as your head coach, offensive coordinator, and pretty much your quarterback coach. You have spent a ton of money solidifying your offensive line, and you've seen the sack totals come down, and he's done a really nice job bringing that down as well. They've spent a ton of draft capital on wide receivers and tight ends. So, too much is given, much is expected. I don't think any of these conversations are too harsh in any way, shape, or form. And if anyone up at Hallis Hall felt that way, I would say you're being awfully defensive for a group that has pushed all your chips in on offense. But I don't anticipate hearing that from them up there.
It's a long season, and by the time the end of the season comes, we could be like, we got our guy. Now this is good things happen to those who wait. And I hope that's the case. But I promised myself as a twofold, as a Bears fan and as a talk show host, that when we lived through the Jay Cutler ups and downs, I defended him too long because he was our guy.
Yeah.
He was our guy. I believed in the talent. And when it was there, when the questions were there were many times that we fought instead of just saying, well, maybe they got a point. Maybe it should be better. And then it took me to Josh McCown playing, and that's when I said to myself at that point, I'm never going to do this again. And then I watched Cap with Mitch Trubisky, insisting that Mitch Trubisky was the guy and that Mitch Trubisky was going to be great. And he would question Dan Weeder when Dan Weeder would say to him, Cap, it's not looking good here. Doesn't matter. He just kept turning a blind eye to all of it. And so it happened to Cap, dismissing warning signs. And I'm not telling you that Caleb's going to be Mitch or Jay. And then with Justin, I love Justin, and I thought Justin would be better than Mitch. And by year 3, I'm like, still the same mistake, still the processing issue. So maybe I am fairly scorned because of the past, but I just told myself if I had, I would not miss warning signs. Or like what's the harm of saying, should it look better? What's wrong with asking a question? Look, you could call in and say, Silvy, Caleb's going to be great because of this, and this, and this. And I'll say, great. That's a great point. What I rage against is when someone simply gets turned off or think you're dumb for asking the question, should he be better than he is now a year and a half in?
I'm dumb for a lot of other reasons than that. Look, this is what I wrote down. Quarterback, this is the first thing I wrote down. Quarterback isn't good enough right now. Final stats don't tell the story. 285 yards, 64 yards came in the final drive, down 14 with 2 minutes to go. Completion percentage was up to 66. He completed 25 passes, but it wasn't an efficient game. And hasn't played, I wrote this down, hasn't played well the last 4 weeks. Since the Cowboys game, just under 61% completion percentage with only 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He had quarterback ratings in the past 4 games of 73, 99, 62, and 77. That's just, and I wrote down, you're not winning games because of him. I think you could argue they won the game because of him in a lot of ways against the Cowboys.
Oh yeah,
but the last 4, the 3 wins following that,
and he took them down. He didn't have a good game, but he took them downfield in the Raiders. Well, which game was it when he took them downfield late in the game?
Yes,
the Raiders game.
So I mean, look, it is what it is, as they say. Is it good enough at this point for me? No. Is it a disaster? No. I've seen disasters. It's not a disaster. Where it's going, I can't.
You can't confidently say.
I can't confidently say. There's things that drive me crazy, and there's other things that I'm encouraged by. So, look, I've always tried to be patient, too. Like, everyone wants to be first to be right. I'd rather be right and be last. But I just want to be right. So that's why the whole Justin thing, hey, listen, give it a couple of years. With Mitch, you know what? It doesn't look good, but let's see how... At some point, they define themselves.
Yeah. We were looking for comps. Is this off? I'm not talking about the body type. But I want him to be like Dak. Like, is it like, shouldn't at least the not the high point, like he could be better, but Dak's pretty damn good, isn't he? When Dak is healthy, isn't Dak pretty good? And don't they have similar characteristics as far as, Dak maybe isn't as athletic anymore after the foot injury or whatever that devastating injury was. He was pretty mobile. He's got a good arm. He gets the balls to his weapons, and he throws for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns.
I think Dak's been more accurate in his career, hasn't he?
Yeah. I had no clue that Caleb would be this inaccurate. Yeah. Like, this has been a surprise to me.
You go all the way back to 2016, Dak's rookie year, where accuracy, guys weren't completing 68% of your passes. He completed 68% of his passes on 459 attempts. That's pretty accurate. He's 67% for his career.
Yeah, he's good. Like, that's what I think he should be. Is that wrong to think that, or is it because he's just not accurate? You think this will always be the trait of his?
You know how I feel. I think that this is something you may always have to deal with, and it's not about getting used to an offense. It's just some of these missed throws are out there for him. And it doesn't mean you can't be successful. It just means to think that you're going to be 72% completion rate. No, because, again, on the positive side, look at the number of splash plays, big plays that they've had. They, coming into this game, they were still averaging like 345 yards and 25 points per game. So the offense works. Were they gifted a lot of good field position because of the defense? Yeah. So, I'm not all of a sudden taking the offense and throwing it in the trash because you scored 16 against the Baltimore Ravens, a team that was desperate to win. You didn't have a good game. Your quarterback didn't carry you the manner in which he needed to carry you. But I think this offense still works.
Yeah. Scott and Aurora, you're on ESPN 1000. What's up, Scotty?
Good afternoon, man. How are you guys?
We're good.
Good. Thanks for taking my call, and thank you for the entertainment that you guys give us all week long. We appreciate it.
We appreciate you,
One
Scott.
show nightly.
Hey, quick question. When the Bears get in the red zone and they're struggling as of right now, are we being outcoached or are we being outplayed?
I don't think you're being out-coached. I think you're being out-executed. I think your coach is, and again, remember, he's got a feeling-out process himself. No excuse, because they came out of the blocks, 6 of 7 in red zone opportunities, I believe it was, in their first 3 games. This is a new phenomenon over the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I think it's player error. But I think the coaches, coaches got to assume responsibility for it as well.
For the penalties.
Find something, the one thing I would say is I want more creativity from him in the red zone.
Yeah. I've like, hey, where's the one that we say, oh, that goes on the coach's tally?
And by the way, I'm not
schemed that touchdown for us in the red zone or on the goal line.
And I'm not talking about giving the ball to Jonah Jackson on a guard around. That's not what I'm talking about. But you've got a 6'5" Cole Kmet, you've got 6'5", Colston Loveland, and you've got all these athletic players.
6'3" Rome.
Yeah, I mean, get Caleb on the edge a little bit more with a little run pass option.
Where's your bar? I'm talking about long-term bar.
My bar is better than what I've seen. He has not been nearly as good as he needs to be.
I thought you meant where do you want him eventually to go?
Correct. My bar and that bar, he's not where I would have expected him to be this point. I don't think he's on the ground. I would hope that he'd be better off. And I think the bar moves as you develop as a quarterback.
Sure. Well, I'm holding the career bar for him in a Bears uniform is he needs to be our first franchise star quarterback.
Yeah.
I will tell you that if he is 3rd in the draft class, but he is a star franchise quarterback, and he's just below the 2, I can live with that. It doesn't have to be where, okay, maybe it should have been May. Maybe it should have been Daniels. Right. As long as Caleb lives up to the bar that Caleb is supposed to be. It's sort of like Akeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan. Mm-hmm. Would the Houston Rockets rather have taken Michael Jordan than Akeem?
My guess would be yes, but they're okay with the career that Akeem had.
He won 2 titles and one of the greatest centers of all time. I want Caleb, if you didn't get the best in the draft class, to still be a great player. What you can't have is another Sam Bowie. You can't have a guy who is not going to be a franchise quarterback. So my ask is not, okay, does he have to be number 1 in the draft class? Does he have to be a Hall of Fame trajectory player? He needs to be a star for the first time that the Bears have ever had. That's where my bar is.
Has he met your expectations to this
that's
point?
Why.
Right.
No.
And that's where the conversation is.
And I'm patient. And if he ultimately gets there, I'm just having a discussion. Never do I. It's such a weird environment in 2025 where you can't have a discussion anymore. Hey, what bothers you? What makes you happy? Is a guy living up to what you thought he'd be? But Silvy, the Eberflus last year. But Silvy, this it's going to take. But still, just let's have a discussion. What's wrong with that?
And the bar is naturally affected by his draft, where he was drafted.
Of course.
And the amount of resources they've placed around him. So if you look at the situation in New England with Drake May, who's completing 75% of his passes and 15 touchdowns and 2 interceptions, he's been sacked more than any other quarterback in the league other than one other guy. And nobody can really name his weapons. So he has what I would think exceeded most people's expectations. But at this particular time, the bar here in Chicago for me is not anywhere close to that.
I don't think we've even had a stretch of 3 games where we've said Caleb Williams has lived up to what we all were hoping or thinking he would be yet. No one is saying that doesn't mean he won't get there. But who could say that?
I think the stretch, honestly, the best stretch he's had, if you go back to last year, the Rams game, followed by the Carolina game, followed by the Jacksonville game. That's the best 3-game stretch of his career, in my opinion.